Hello, everybody. We're here. We're live. Three of us are in the same room. Pretty cool. Hi.
Greetings.
We're back. It's been about a month since we did one of these, but it's nice to have a few of us in the same room for it. Obviously, we're going to be talking about last night's first night of Goosemas, which was phenomenal. As always, before we get started, a quick message from our sponsor, Versio Wellness. Versio functional mushrooms are here to help right now, whether you are gearing up for a show, going to sleep afterwards, or recovering and restoring the day after. Using varieties like lion's mane, chaga, reishi, and more, Versio concentrates the health benefits from these potent fruiting bodies into a supplement with a variety of applications. I take their lion's mane focus every morning and really enjoy the boost it gives me throughout the day. Order your Versio today with code STORMSOUND15 for 15% off your order, which ships anywhere in the US or Canada. So, Goosemas last night. That was a pretty fun show.
Pretty wild.
Very fun show.
We were Neil, D, and I were together. You were up in your suite. It was
living the sweet life.
Sweet life. And also, for anyone watching who's curious, this is an LE2 tie-dye Modavon hoodie. Pretty cool.
Yeah, big shout to my good friend Matt Siracusa, who did this for me. He's got one himself. He recently did the big run for the the collab with
TGR.
with TGR. Dude is super talented with tie dyes. So it was cool. Neil and I actually drove down to his place yesterday to pick this up, and he gave us a little bit of kind of the deets on his process and things like that. And he's a master of the craft. So big shout. I love this hoodie so much. I'll be wearing it again tonight.
It's good.
Gotta rep the brand.
I picked up this hoodie at the show last night. Very happy about it. I'm enjoying it.
Not quite as cool, but
not well. It's hard to top that. Of course.
And that's like what? That's what's that? LE 3000.
Something like that.
Probably more.
It's not as unique, that's for sure.
Daniel, what are you wearing? I think we're getting down to the important
Outfit
details
of the
about
day.
the show.
Outfit of the day.
I got this is that guy. Some dude from Twitter made this nice fish shirt, and then I got a nice LL Bean shirt on.
Nice.
Keeping it.
What about you, Neil? You're wearing
I was going to wear the Goose today, but I'm wearing Trevor.
Dances with Goose.
The Dances with Goose. It's an LE. I don't know what it is.
Probably less than that.
Going into the
Little
show.
man.
I think all four of us had different experiences going into the show.
We did. We definitely did. Well, you want to go first?
Yeah, I probably have the worst story out of everyone.
So
I might as well go first.
We'll go up from there.
I arrived at, I want to say, when were doors? Like it was 7 o'clock, right? Yeah.
7.
So I got there at about like 7:20, and there was a line legitimately like about a quarter mile long. It was insane, but it moved fast, and I got into the venue in probably about, 15, 20 minutes. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And then, I found you right away. It's pretty good.
So as far as, worst story goes, like.
Yeah, pretty mild.
Yeah, well, you guys all had like pretty cushy deals. I was living the sweet life.
Yeah. I got a VIP ticket last night, which was great. So got in early, scored favorite spot in the venue, which is Peter side, first row. Neil and D, you guys were with me during the show last night, but it was a great spot. How was the suite?
So look, if don't buy a quick pass if you've got a suite ticket, is my advice. But do buy a quick pass if you have GA, because you do just roll right to the front of the line. This shit's never really organized very well and never very clearly communicated to people. But yeah, if you have the quick pass, you can just go to the front of the line. There's no quick pass line like that's separate. You just go to the front, tell them you have a quick pass, which we had, and we didn't know there was a separate suite entrance, which we'll use that tonight. But no one even scanned our quick pass when we went in. So I don't know if anybody wants to just try walking up there saying you have a quick pass.
There was somebody with, sorry.
Yeah, the suites are dope, and honestly, dedicated entrance and exit for that matter. Your own concessions, nice comfortable seating in the suite. The fact that those tickets got released a few weeks ago for the same price, it's a sweet deal. So
You're all about these puns.
yeah, so highly recommend. The only downside is I don't know if I can ever go to a show and not be in a suite again. So
Exactly.
You get a taste of the good life, and
Yeah.
you can't go back.
Well, now
That's good.
my handle, we could just do Sweet D, the Sweet Life D.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So
That's
that'll
pretty
be
good.
tonight. I'll get
See,
to.
how was your entry?
It was easy. I mean, we showed up, got a nice ride in, and parked in the parking garage. Always kind of forget how wild these little suburban communities are in Colorado. And but no, we had an easy entrance. Got in the bowl entrance for the seats, bowl exclusive. So didn't deal with the people rushing onto the floor. I mean, I thought we were in a matter of moments, and then where Ryan had saved us our seats right there. I had a good experience. The only other time I went to First Bank was Oysterhead in 2020, and I know some people kind of don't love the venue, but I thought it sounded great too. We'll get into that, but yeah, entry was good, comfortable. Sort of just crowd began to build, and then we were off. So
Yeah.
Yep.
nice.
Also
sure.
love the venue. I mean, vibe was good. Once I was
Yeah.
inside, it's easy to get a drink, easy to go to the bathroom. So it's great.
It was good. Yeah. And you mentioned the floor looked absolutely packed. I was very happy to not
yes,
have to deal with that. It's an interesting system. Most GA venues, the floor ticket is separate. But for this one, it's first come, first serve, which was crazy. So when you line up, you can choose to get a wristband for the floor or not. And they have a limited number of wristbands. And once they run out, if you don't arrive in time, then you cannot get on the floor. So It's an interesting system. I'm curious to hear from people who were on the floor last night what they thought of it. But it looked very, very squishy from where we were. But so let's dive into this show, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
So first part of the first set, I think we kind of, get through relatively quickly. Opening segment of Flow Down, Everything Must Go, Butter Rum, Old Man's Boat. Solid playing, nice little river lullaby tease in the floater. Everything Must Go is a good song. Otherwise,
good tone. Rick's tone during Everything Must Go, I really liked. I know I was saying that to Neil, but he picked that out. I thought his tone stood out in particular, just sort of very like phaser channeled, sort of the sharp sound. I'm really excited to hear it again.
Mhm.
That song, and I thought it was a very solid version, tight. Yeah, Butter Rum had a good little jam too for a second, I felt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think Everything Must Go is probably the one part of this first set that I really, really enjoyed. I thought some of the song selection was a little bit weird, and I think we're all going to talk about that. But you hit on the point about Rick's tone, and it wasn't Everything Must Go that I really noticed, and I was like, wait a second, something's really different here. Then it didn't really hit me or strike me in Flow Down, but it did in Everything Must Go. And I think we're going to talk about that a lot when we talk about this show. But I mean, that's the big news right now, right? Is that there was a very, very drastic shift in tone from Rick. And it was incredible. It's not even just like, hey, that's a little bit different. Yeah. It changed the music. It was very, very good. I haven't met anybody yet who's been like, could have dealt with Rick's old tone more. So I don't know. It's pretty exciting stuff. And in an otherwise kind of lackluster start to this show, I think that was like the shining light there. It was like hearing Rick's new tone in this song that I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was happy to see Everything Must Go because I do like that song, and I think individually those first 4 tracks, were all good. It was just collectively,
to start a show. Yeah.
If there's any criticism of this show, because I think we're all going to rave about set 2 in a few minutes. It's just maybe just that song selection. I think maybe we were just expecting a little bit more fire out of the gate. And then the on the tone thing, I feel like the Taboos, kind of arena sound, was more of kind of a smaller step, but then from Taboos to Last Night, it was a bigger step in that same direction. And his tone was so gnarly and obviously there was there's got to be some Trey influence here because
huge.
I think we all probably remember reading back in the day Trey talking about how they stepped up, to larger venues, how they really had to dial that sound in and change their sound, as a band and individual with their instruments, and so so that's what we're seeing, and so surely Trey would have given some advice on that. You know what I mean?
We saw the pictures.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I think you did hear a little bit of it, but by Drive, that's when it was just like really, almost just in your face how loud and powerful and overdriven, that the sustain that he was using is something that, historically he doesn't use a whole lot of. And so yeah, I mean, I really like that sound, and it wasn't just either. I mean, the full sound that the band was putting out. I mean, it was loud and powerful, but still cohesive and tight, like it always is. You know what I mean? So yeah, just loved the sound. Just talking about that as a separate thing. Thought it was really awesome. Yeah, psyched for tonight to hear more of it.
Yeah, I thought the I'd be interested to hear. I didn't listen back, but I thought the transition into Drive, it sounded like much faster even. I mean, sort of like a hyper drive, and it a little almost kind of got out of place for me. I don't know. It sounded like the intro. They sort of had worked on it a bit, but I thought the jam in Drive was insane. Last sort of like 3-4 minutes had a very good little theme.
The churn.
Exactly. Yeah.
Outrageous.
Yeah,
in that last night. I think it's like a theme of the whole night. It's like a lot of the churn, a lot of hose, like just just absolute straightforward, just clubbing people over the heads with this loud, raging music. It's so good.
Was hoping to Drive again.
We all are.
Yeah.
But we want the return of the O's.
Goosemas doesn't even get it, so I don't know.
They haven't played it. They haven't played it like that since June. It's we're missing it. That and the All I Need Second Jam.
Yeah. But sick jam. Yeah, I agree. D. I mean, and jam of the set. I mean, easily. Yeah. Just again, we're just real powerful.
And it's
stuff.
And that was as with a lot of the churn jams, it's Peter's rhythm guitar work that really stood out to me there. Just hammering into those textures. Peter. It seemed that it was the same guitar but a different color. Made its debut last night. Nice, like hot rod red instead of his pink.
Is it the Shure again?
I think it is. It looked to be the same guitar, same pickups, but I haven't been able to see a closer look at the headstock and see if it is indeed the same. But it sounded great. I like the red.
I think the Drive too.
A red guitar instead of a pink.
I think you probably could see it a little bit better, B. But even from where we were standing, just off the floor, one level or one row, but I thought the Drive kind of was also a moment where, like we said, the first quarter of the show kind of took a bit to get in, and everybody's kind of settling, and the sound and the song selection for some of us. But the Drive, I think, was that moment that kind of captured the crowd. Like, saw everybody. Like Marisa even looked over at me and was like, I can't with the Jesus hands. Everybody's like hands in the air, like just, all in unison though. And that's sort of the thing too, where it's like, that shows the power of the music. And I felt sort of that they were capturing more fans. I mean, this is a massive show for them. Big setting. The stage, I thought, set up in general, it's a very big rig in overall, light rig. I know you said, Ryan, right, that Getty said it was one of his biggest or the biggest. So
the biggest light rig Getty has ever used.
And I thought he had it looking great. Like the Old Man's Boat, those little like spiral circles when he first blew those up. That was that first one where he used the full backdrop. And he was playing with some cool things.
Yeah, it was amazing last night. And then, after Drive, we get Christmas Must Be Tonight for the first time since Goosemas 6. In 2019. So that's a cool bust out.
Where it was acoustic.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did. Yeah, that's right, Brian.
Yeah, that's my favorite Goosemas cover. It's by the band. If you didn't just mention that, and yeah, that's on the family. That's on the family holiday playlist at the Drive House for sure. Yeah, I just really love that song. So yeah, I was actually. I mean, I was
I like this.
kind of surprised when they started playing it. You know, I really wasn't expecting it last night, but
Yeah, me neither.
yeah, super happy to see that. Yeah, just love it. So I'll have to update the holiday playlist when the soundboards drop.
Yeah, I think we were all kind of expecting the Linus and Lucy more than the Christmas Must Be Tonight. You know, I believe this is the first Goosemas show ever where they have not played Linus and Lucy.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't tonight
But
proper Goosemas?
Right.
tonight
It's
was
coming.
the originally first announced date, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's
Saturday was right. They added the Friday.
But it's still, both nights are Goosemas, so this
Yeah.
is the first Goosemas show
Yeah.
with no Linus and Lucy's.
Well, I
That's
think,
interesting.
yeah, and I think it's a risky pick. So if you're doing fantasy, I probably wouldn't do Linus and Lucy any higher than 1 point tonight. That's just
You're
my.
just and are you
that's
gonna
just
have it
my-
higher than
that's
1
just
point?
my
tonight?
I'm gonna-
I don't know where I'm gonna have it, but
I'm gonna have it at the
I'm
one.
gonna have it.
There's a tight race going on for first place for the year with these two, so it's getting there. It's getting there.
You know, I'm gonna let my results do the talking.
Yeah.
That's all I really have to say.
Well, last night's results won't take too long.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
Uh,
get into that. We'll get into that a bit later. But then, so first set closes with SOS, which is always to me such an incredible arena song.
Good set closer.
Just
Great
filled
set closer.
with-
It's one of my favorites now.
Yeah, it's incredible, absolutely incredible.
I think I was saying this. Was I saying this to you before the show? We were driving around and we were talking about SOS,
Yeah.
and I went back and listened to like a couple old podcasts because I was looking for a snippet for something. And like every time we talk about SOS, we kind of say the same thing, which is like it's just an absolute banger.
Yeah.
And to end a set is incredible.
Yeah.
You know, the interesting thing about the song is like you're not getting different feels of this song, right?
That's
It's-
not bad.
There's no improv to speak of in this. It just crushes and is so much fun.
Yeah.
So like love this. I thought it actually kind of saved the crowd a little bit because, you know, Christmas Must Be Tonight, cool song and all, but really slow on the tempo in a set that was kind of weird with tempo to begin with.
And
So,
placement. It
SOS.
could have been earlier. Christmas.
What's that?
I thought Christmas could have been like it. I agreed. Like earlier in the first set, it might work a little bit better. Sort of
Yeah.
still maybe song 2. You like come out heavy and then song 2, and then you sort of. But yeah, it could have. Neil, you were in the moment. I remember you being like, placement of that one didn't get me. And then SOS started, and we were like, yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, like, you know, I think everybody was there to rage and we just didn't know what was coming. And lucky for us, the second set happened.
Yes. So for those not at the show, you know, or people who were webcasting, obviously Peter mentioned that they were going to randomly pull balls to decide
Randomly.
the second set. I was going to say
Baloney.
ball gate or bingo gate, if you will, because there were you know, pictures of the written set list happening after the show from one of the ASL interpreters that, you know, revealed that it was actually planned. But he was pulling balls with the song names on them. So I'm assuming he, you know, pre-placed those balls in there. But they did have in the concourse before the show an All I Want for Goosemas. There were pictures on social media if you're curious. But they're like balls like you find in a ball pit and Sharpies. And you could write like requests and stuff and put it in a big receptacle, if you will, that then got brought to the band. Now, I do think that some of the gimmicky stuff, like the group hug, I'm sure those were randomly pulled. But I think, yeah, they did pre-plan the songs. But man, like
Rick kisses Jeb. That was good too.
that was pretty good. Rick kissing
Polly.
Peter twerking, everybody group hug, you know. But like I don't know. We were talking about this earlier. I don't know if there's a better set of Goose ever.
Just real quick, can we never say Peter twerking again?
That was for that whole event last night was for Paige Caruso and only Paige Caruso.
Oh, nice. Good.
But yeah, so I don't think there's a better set of Goose ever. You know, we talked about this morning, but this was just an absolutely incredible set. Like if you just talk about song wise and without the gimmicks, the set reads Pancakes, Rosewood, Wisteria, Moby, Rockdale, which is it's nuts.
just a head
It's nuts.
shaker.
And as it unfolded, just like banger after
Yeah.
banger, incredible jam after incredible jam.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Only bangers in the bag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to talk about song selection for this set.
No,
because
not at all.
that's,
Zero notes.
I mean, I don't know what the perfect set is, but that's definitely flawless in the sense that nothing needed to be changed. Just crushed it, and yeah, so again, that whole second set, the sound was just big and powerful, and I mean, I can't, I mean, there might have been a couple moments where because this arena, thing is new still to Goose. So surely there will be adjustments made, but overall, I mean, yeah, I thought Rick's playing it. I hate to just single him out, but it's just the most noticeable to me how much the variance in his sound from even just a few months ago. But again, yeah, the whole band sound was just big and powerful, and it wasn't just a flawless set in terms of song selection. I mean, there were 3 and maybe we could argue 4 incredible jams, and I'm not ready to hasty rank anything because I haven't had a chance to re-listen to anything, but I mean, the Wisteria and the Rockdale especially, and I would put Wisteria as my top of the set of the night was just incredible. I mean, just incredible stuff. I really can't wait to get my hands on these soundboards. And just speaking of the soundboards real quick, and then I'll pass this off. I do also wonder if Peter's job mixing these shows is also slightly different, with these arena shows.
The bigger room.
And the sound. So yeah, I was actually thinking about that last night a little bit, and wasn't surprised to not see these soundboards yet. I think he'll probably take his time. And sometimes I wonder too, with really hot shows, if maybe Peter's like, you know what, I don't want to rush this one out.
Yeah.
Because this is an all-timer.
We could get a video premiere in a few days.
Or as we've seen, they'll sometimes be like, no, that people have to hear this. Like that second set is one that everyone's like, if you didn't watch the stream last night, if you need to hear that show, or that set. I agree with the song selection, and saying jams were top notch. A lot of Rick, but yeah, Peter during the Wisteria.
Peter was my personal MVP last night. Despite everything Rick was doing, that was just so phenomenal. It was just Peter was standing out to me in every single jam. Like whether he was supporting Rick or leading himself, like that. His piano work in Pancakes and Rosewood. I noticed a lot of last night. Peter was sticking to piano outside of I think Wisteria. He was using the vintage organ a bit more, but for a lot of last night, he was sticking to piano. Didn't even hit that much organ on these big peaks earlier in the set, and it's cool because that's something that can be a conscious choice that he's making, like to try to push himself in a direction without being like, okay, I'm going to use these other tools in my rig and just stick to only piano. So it was cool to hear, all of them just ripping it up. This Pancakes, there were numerous jams in the set that I think we thought were way longer than they actually were, which happens a lot. But it was this Pancakes. It was only like 17 or 18 minutes, right? Like it's crazy how much ground they covered. It was just nonstop, like rage fest in that jam.
Yeah, well, I mean,
the energy,
the quality of the jamming in Pancakes is really high. I wonder, when I go back to re-listen to this, if I'm going to hear kind of the exploration that I would expect from like these like top jams in a tour. But man, did I really like that in the moment. And like I definitely have to admit, I was hasty ranking the hell out of that Pancake.
Yes, you did.
At 2:30 in the morning back at the hotel room. Because I absolutely loved it. It was so good. And, we talk about Rick's tone, and it's really easy to single Rick out because it's kind of the thing that's different. It is the sore thumb that's sticking out in that, you're not used to hearing these things. But like what Ryan was saying, Peter was also exceptionally strong last night. So the tone thing just enhanced all of this excellent jamming. Like this set wasn't wonderful or as wonderful as it is just because Rick was playing a little bit differently or sounding a little bit differently. And actually, that brings me to a point that I wanted to bring up. Not only was Rick's tone a little bit different, but he was doing some things with the guitar that he doesn't normally do. Like he was doing a lot of trilling last night that like, I think before to Goose, I don't know if I've heard that much of from him, but I don't know, maybe folks with a keener ear than I would have something to say about that. But yeah, really enjoyed the pancakes. Rosewood actually felt in this set full of heaters, right? It felt appropriate to kind of cool down a little bit with Rosewood after that huge raging pancakes, that was only 17 minutes. That felt longer. And then, Wisteria kind of built it right back up again and then closed with that incredibly hot Rockdale. It's just, the flow of this set just on its own is great. Song selection and jamming aside. There's just so much to love about this set.
Yeah, I think
not a moment to breathe. I think the closest thing to a breather we got was Trevor reading a couple of lines of Christmas poetry, which I'm not convinced that was pre-planned because it looked like he Googled something on stage.
But then he had the Goose Miss. He had the Goose Miss verse in it. He had a Merry Goose Miss. He just it was too.
That's fair.
Yeah. There's no way he was just gonna be put on the spot to come up with poetry.
Trevor on the spot.
That would be good. Trevor freestyle.
Yeah, they just, I know that it's not something they do regularly, but you couldn't hear him the first line or two, and then Sam brought him up in the mix, so then you could hear the rest. So, next time Trevor reads poetry, let's
make sure his mic's on.
Let's get that mic level.
Yeah.
Well, banter last night from stage was hard to hear.
Yeah.
Not going to really mention
there was
anything else. There was nothing special outset from the stage last night.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, no, that thing, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then so after the poetry, we get into the Wisteria, which, this is the jam of the night. I think, we got the first half of the jam that was absolutely incredible, and then as they kind of get into this space that felt to me almost like they could have segued really well.
Yep.
Kind of where they were. But then Peter pulled the audience group hug ball, which was great. Like everyone starts hugging, and then for me at least, I was focused on oh, we're all hugging. This is so fun. And then I kind of turned back around at the stage. I was like, oh wait, they're still going. They're riding this jam out now. And then it just got elevated from there. And it was in this jam where you couldn't hear it in the venue, but I did catch a little bit of it, re-listen this morning. Peter had some ridiculous synth textures going during this Wisteria, which I believe it was in the group hug portion of the jam, but you couldn't really hear that in the venue, and it sounds really, really amazing. I'm hoping that synth gets a little bit more volume inside tonight. But this jam was amazing, and Rick mentioned as it was winding down, as Peter was pulling the next ball, Rick was like, wow, we got some good mileage out of that hug.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, and I thought even the first half of the Wisteria, which sort of had all I can liken to this very floaty Peter on Vintage vibe, kind of just continual theme where he would come back and brush over the top of Rick and everybody just peaking. Slow builds though. Yeah, you could tell a lot of turns. I felt there were a lot of moments during that first half of Wisteria where, whereas the second was maybe a little bit more energy driven and kind of one more peak. Yeah, they hit some churning, some darkness, all these themes that it was talk about efficiency in the first 13 minutes or whatever that was. It was phenomenal. Maybe, and sort of highlighted for me, I said to you guys after, I was just, potentially we'll see about New Year's, but stamping Wisteria is, one of the tracks of the year. Obviously we had San Francisco, we're going to have, 2 top 5 or 10 versions, 3 with, other versions around. So it's, yeah. Stellar.
Yeah, that Wisteria was good. It was overwhelming how good it was. I was I almost had to take a seat. I was maybe gonna go for a walk. I don't know. It was just it was more than I can handle. The interesting thing about that jam is it was not just a funkaroo that you just kind of bop your head to and have a good time. It's a party. This thing it's a monster. It's an absolute monster, and I can't wait to listen to it.
Yeah, it was incredible. And then, obviously it starts winding down. And I turned to Garrett, who was next to me, and I was like, I'm not going to do it, but like Moby would be really good here. And Peter pulled the Moby ball. And, you guys can attest, I kind of lost my shit a little bit. Everyone knows how I've been chasing this song, how much I've wanted to see it live. And it was just so incredible to catch it last night. And then finding out, a few minutes later that you couldn't hear it at the venue, but that Peter said this one's for Ryan. So
nice.
That's pretty cool.
So Ryan, Gold's really psyched for you, man. Stealing Jeff's joke.
I thought it was Ryan Gosling.
He's a big Moby fan.
Yeah, there's nothing like a Moby after a big jam. It's the perfect landing pad. 5 minutes of bass bombs and soft bed of electric piano, which is what I said in my jam bass recap. But
it was like the Caverns version, Wisteria Moby, the debut of Moby.
So,
that's a great. It's a perfect song, I think, for a TED tape track like that. Any of those, it's sort of the song settles and kind of gives them that space to give you one more little sort of punch to the gut with that bass.
Yeah. The funny thing about this Moby is the worst part of the set. Just let that sink in for a second.
Well, I think worst is a harsh term.
Least good.
Least,
well,
that's still doing
exactly
it.
my point.
Yeah, that's still doing it a disservice.
The least incredible.
Yeah.
It's funny and it's hard because when you're there, sometimes, just like the sensory overload and the emotional response and all that stuff. I think a lot of times. And this is like kind of where attendance bias comes from. You know what I mean? Is all those places, right? And it's why we don't hasty rank and things like that, right? But that Moby did feel like it had a little bit extra, especially from Rick.
Yep.
So again, just really interested to listen back and kind of confirm some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And then, Moby winds down and we get Rockdale. And oh my God, what a way to close the set. This is another jam that felt significantly longer. And, not a lot of Clav last night up until this point, but there were Clav tweets happening. That was crazy. Just straight into the grime. Yeah. Peter initiating that Crazy Train tease, which was great. And it was just dirty.
Yeah. They got so fast during that too, the end.
Yeah.
I was like, there was that of Rockdale in particular, of all of those songs in the set, sort of had the most unique jam, I felt. Just atypical for the song. I sort of had a moment of, yep, this is still a Rockdale, actually, like in the middle of the jam, sort of the latter half. And it just, which is a sweet feeling that they're able to. I think everybody was sort of floored by it. That was a common reaction I was hearing, that Rockdale just kind of capped the night off as well as you could ask, just like the SOS did in the first set.
Yeah,
great set closers.
Rockdale works anywhere in the show, and I think second set closers, it's a great spot for
it. Big crazy freight train jam.
You're all about these puns.
I mean,
they were. I thought Rick was doing the way they traded off the Crazy Train though, and he would kind of settle back into it, and then kind of pull out, and then they were chugging all right.
Yeah, that was great. And then a White Lights encore after a nice little moment between Rick and Jeff, which was funny. But yeah, and just White Lights was a fun way to cap off the show. Nice little dancey jam. As it does, more great piano work from Peter. But I cannot wait to see what they do tonight. Broomfield, maybe?
Yeah. I mean,
Linus and Lucy.
Yeah, I don't want to.
A lot on the table, obviously.
Yeah. I don't want to give away any picks. But definitely going to get some big stuff tonight, and we'll see how many more Gooseness tunes we get tonight, and if there's any other non-musical treats in store, maybe another bag of banger balls. I don't know.
sack
set.
As we said, the sack set.
Sack set.
The back of the ball.
Santa's got a brand new bag of bangers.
Oh man. Well, I'll say this: if they don't play Dripfield tonight, I think everyone in Colorado should just boycott Goose shows.
Oh my God! I know. After
I mean, how many
too.
shows have in Colorado and not played a Dripfield? It's been
I
This is
almost
four.
didn't come to these after.
No
after
Dripfield
the
at Red
disappointment
Rocks,
of no Dripfield at Red Rocks. Yeah.
Luckily, you came and you having a good time.
I'm glad I did. Yeah. Turns out I like this music a lot.
What? No way. So we're very excited for tonight. You live in the suite life again. Are you in the suite tonight?
No, VIP.
You're not in the suite,
VIP, so I'm gonna be on.
I'm
that
in suite. Come say
lower
what up
whole
to
rail.
Sweets.
Yep.
Yeah, gonna aim for the same spot tonight. Hopefully, we can get it. But yeah, if anybody watching is at the show, if you see us, please come say hi. We love saying hi and schmoozing. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. Maybe not all of us in the same room, who knows? But we will be back to recap tonight's show. Also, tomorrow night is a very exciting show, but we'll talk about that more tomorrow once the night is out.
Shout out to Kev, who
Love you, Kev.
is with us.
Yes, we miss you, Kev. Hope you're feeling better. Yes, we shows have not been the same without you.
It's true.
It's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
shows are pretty good though. But
I
it would have
mean,
been
it
cooler
was-
if he was there.
Correct.
It would have been cooler for you.
Correct. Poor guy. You didn't have Kev with you in the suite. It's like you're missing your other half.
No, yeah, I mean, it was actually, there was a void, in the suite and in my heart. But yeah, let's just get stoked for tonight.
Let's do it again.
I mean, I don't know, dude. I think after last night, now the bar is just up there, and so I'm expecting huge things.
You usually are.
And yeah, so I need to go, I just start crunching some numbers and get these fancy picks in. And, I picked up some ground on my nemesis last night. So
What's the gap now? How much are you trailing by?
I think it's down to 14 now. We've
14
got,
points.
we've
Four
got
shows
four
yet.
shows to
Four
go.
shows left.
So if I picked up 10 last night. So I mean, at that rate,
You got to step it up.
what'd you get? Oh yeah, 2.
I got 2.
Yeah. Neil's really good at coming in under the wire though. Like, he's done that
He
a
is.
lot. So
2.
I had that one coming after the Jive 2 is my favorite Jive burn. I think a few weeks back when you put up a deuce, but in any case,
It happens. It happens.
Sometimes
I got 11 last night. I was pretty happy with
Yeah,
that. So
I had 12. Kev actually.
I had 13.
Pod group. Kev crushed it. I think 17.
damn.
13.
D, how'd you do last night?
13.
Right?
Oh, nice.
Kev had Kev had
10.
14. It looks like
14.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about fantasy at all last night. The music was so good.
No.
Sometimes I'm usually I wonder if they're gonna play my stuff. And
yeah.
I don't even know. I was just kind of more in shock. When they played Rockdale, I couldn't believe it. I was like, they're really playing Rockdale right now after all of that.
Yeah. More
So I was
bangers.
thinking more about that kind of thing and less about fantasy.
Yeah, definitely. Like if I'm couch touring,
You're more dialed in.
I'm thinking of that stuff more, because I got the fancy spreadsheet up and set the spreadsheet.
Got it all.
My phone and Signal and Twitter.
There's a lot. Yeah, there are a lot of channels to have open.
So yeah, so whereas last night it was just like, oh, do I want to sit on the couch or one of the comfy chairs, or do I want to go, onto a bar stool?
I wonder how all the people who were like cramped
It's like
on the
different-
floor,
Like different
feel.
set of choices, you know what I mean? And you just last thing really quick, I actually thought the sound was quite good because I was at that Oysterhead run as well, D, right before COVID, and I didn't love a lot about those shows.
Agreed. Much better. Yeah.
Last night felt so much better, and I thought sounded better. So
Yeah.
I guess shout out to Sam and everybody for dialing that in. So yeah.
Sounded good. All right. Well, Everybody have a great show, whether you're there, whether you're couch touring. We will be back here tomorrow, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Mountain.